Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I just wanted to give you a quick kind of weight update. I've not done a lot on this channel lately, I noticed. I must kind of remedy that and maybe do some cooking and stuff. I guess with being away and whatnot, and I've done quite a lot of beauty videos. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to give you a weight update. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in the title or not. I've been trying to put the weight in the title so that I can easily see my progress or otherwise. But today I am 12 stone 4. So this is officially the heaviest I have ever been in my life. The heaviest I've been before is 11 stone 10. I think that's as high as I've got before. And so it seems that what they say, what the professionals say, is true in that you lose weight and then you always put more on. That's certainly true for me. It hasn't happened the last couple of times. I've seemed to have got to 11 stone 10 and kind of had this mentality of I'm not going to be 12 stone and been able to like kind of diet. Even though I've always yo-yo dieted, I've never ever got to that 12 stone mark. You know, and I've been able to lose it and go back down. Although I've noticed I've never been able to go back down to as low as I was before, if you know what I mean. Like the first time I started dieting when I met Kev, which was 10 years ago, I must have been under 10 stone because I remember getting on the scales and being horrified that I was over 10 stone and going on a diet then. And then actually just before that, I remember with my breakup of my previous boyfriend, I lost a lot of weight, obviously on the breakup diet, and I was 9 stone 10. But I felt too skinny at that. So I think like my ideal weight is kind of about 10 stone 2, 10 stone 4, something like that. That's kind of my ideal. So yeah, so it has been a yo-yo, but like I said, this is the heaviest I've ever been. And I did get to the point where I was like 11 stone 11 or whatever and think I don't want to be 12 stone. But the problem was that I was going away, and I think in my last video I said to you guys that I'm not really going to be dieting. I'm kind of, not that I've ever dieted, I kind of tried to healthy eat, but I'm not going to be concentrating on weight loss because I was kind of miserable, and I just for some reason did not have the motivation. I think there's sometimes I just wake up and I have the right mindset, and I'm determined and I'm ready to do it and I'm kind of fully on board with it. But I feel like for the last sort of few months of trying to do it, or the months before that, before I kind of gave up if you like, I just didn't feel like my heart was in it. I didn't feel 100% on board. I was doing it because I felt like I should and not because I actually wanted to. I was just in that kind of, no, I'm enjoying food, I'm enjoying what I'm eating, I don't want to give it up, kind of stamping my foot kind of thing and saying, no, I'm not going to healthy eat. Or I'm not going to cut out the snacks, because actually I do eat healthy. My main meals are actually very healthy. It's all the crap that I eat in between it and at weekends that's the problem. So yeah, so anyway, going to London, I wasn't going to start dieting because I was going on holiday, and when we go on holiday, obviously we go out for dinner. I buy food for the hotel room, I kind of sit and have biscuits and things, and I wasn't prepared to not do that. So I kind of knew that I would be going over the 12 stone mark, and I was, as always, surprised that it was as high, but I forget about the fact that the polycystic ovary means that I do put on weight really, really quickly. And also I carry it all around my middle, and I think that's the thing that actually kind of spurs me on to want to reduce my weight, because like I've got friends that are size 16, size 18, and they don't have a big tummy, you know, like the weight goes on all over them and they just look like a curvy woman. Whereas for me, I do put it on my tummy, I do put it on my kind of hips. It's literally from above the knees to kind of just under my boobs is kind of where all the weight goes, so it doesn't look good in clothes. I don't feel comfortable. I'm pretty sure people at work will be discussing whether or not I'm pregnant or not, because and I certainly, I've heard people talking about other people when that's happened, because I do get a tummy on me, you know, and that's the thing that's really hard to dress for. I think it's really hard to find clothes for. Anyway, so I was kind of depressed when I got on the scales and saw that it was 12 stone 4. But not 100% surprised, and I'm not too down, because I'm like, well, I made that decision to not stay on the healthy eating plan, so I knew that was going to happen, and I can only kind of blame myself in that respect, and all I can do now is do something about it. So one of the biggest things that kind of gets me down when I'm bigger is clothes, is finding clothes to fit me. So I have actually got a couple of clothes for work, so that isn't too bad. I bought 2 blouses from River Island in a size 14, which is the first time I've ever bought something that is not a 10 or a 12 on the top, so that was kind of a shock as well. But anyway, bought these 2 blouses that are really pretty, and they're kind of elasticated and they sit just below my tummy, so they look quite nice. So I know that for the next little while I am getting back into the healthy eating plan, at least I will feel okay-ish going to work. There's a lot of my clothes that don't fit me anymore, but I'm hoping that I'll lose it pretty quickly and can get back into my clothes, back into some of the clothes that I've got sitting in there. That's the kind of shame of it as well. I've got a wardrobe full of some really nice summer clothes, but that just don't fit me, so I can't wear them. Yeah, so I've got that, and I bought another skirt from Marks and Spencer's, also a 14, just a straight black skirt. And I haven't tried my work trousers on, but I must do that before next week actually, to see if they fit me. Otherwise I'll need to go shopping tomorrow for a pair of work trousers. That's the annoying thing, it's the amount of money that it's costing me buying things that I already have. That really does bug me, I have to say, because I have got 3 pairs of work trousers in all different sizes, and that is such a waste of money. Like, think of the makeup I could be buying with that, or the other kind of clothes I could be buying with that, rather than having 3 pairs of trousers. And they say that you should chuck things away, you know, like you should chuck your fat clothes away when you get thin, or you should chuck your thin clothes away when you're trying to lose weight. But if I chucked my fat clothes away, I'd literally have no wardrobe at the moment, because it does happen. So I don't do that. I have got a big wardrobe, but it is a variation of sizes. Anyway, so I do have a plan, and my plan is to give up sugar. And this is quite a bold plan for me, because sugar is kind of my downfall. I have never managed to give up sugar. Well, not never. I've tried to give up chocolate before, and I've only ever managed, in the whole of my life, I managed to go 1 week once. And apart from that, every other time I have tried and said, oh, I'm going to give up chocolate this week and not have my daily chocolate, because that's the kind of the only thing when I'm on a diet that I have a little treat. Every lunchtime I have some dark chocolate. And every time I've gone to give it up, I've lasted, I think maybe 1 day has been the most, other than that 1 week. And the way that I managed in that week was, I remember it was Kev that said to me, well, why don't you just think of it as 1 day? He said, just see if you can go tomorrow. Don't think that you're doing the week. Just see if you can go Monday without having your chocolate. And I did. And then he was so good. He was like, well, why don't you just see if you can go Tuesday as well and see how you get on? And I remember at the end of that week, I actually didn't want chocolate, which was really weird, because I think they say it takes about 3 weeks to get out of your system. But I didn't want any chocolate towards the end of that week. So of course at the weekend, what did I do? I'm over it. I can have as much sugar as I want. And that was me kind of hooked again, and I've never been able to do it since. So like I said, it's a big, bold thing for me to try. I feel quite determined, so I'm quite optimistic that I will be able to go more than 1 day, certainly. I don't have a timeline on it, so I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not. You know, I'm not sure whether I should say, oh goodness, that gave me a fright. It was the post coming through, but it made such a thud on the floor. I'm not sure whether I should be saying to myself, right, you're doing this for 4 weeks, or saying to everybody, you know, you're doing it for 4 weeks, or you're doing it for a week, or whatever. Because I know you should have a goal, but then again, I kind of want the no sugar thing to be a lifestyle change that is kind of forever, actually. Not to say that I would never ever eat sugar again, but I want to get to the point where sugar isn't, or chocolate isn't, a regular thing, that I don't have it every day with my lunch, and that I don't need it every weekend, that I can go the day without having any, and that the time I have sugar is if we go out to dinner and I really fancy a dessert, or if I'm meeting my friend and I want a couple of cocktails or something like that. I don't want it to be a kind of habit. You know, I'm not just cutting out sugar because of the weight either. I'm cutting it out because, although I have dark chocolate, which is supposed to be pretty good for you, with this polycystic ovary thing, I would like to see if by cutting out added sugar, I can control it without having to take the kind of horrible medications that I take, and maybe even stop taking the metformin as well, which is for polycystic ovary and diabetes and whatnot. So it is for health reasons. I have noticed with me being this heavy, I've got really bad indigestion. I just generally feel more tired. And I think with cutting out sugar, that will just make kind of all cravings a bit better. That's my theory anyway, so we'll see how I get on. But yeah, I would like it to be a lifestyle change. So as I was saying, I don't know whether to put a figure on it or not, or just give it a go. So that starts on Tuesday. It starts on Tuesday because I'm off on Monday, and I find it the hardest to kind of not have snacks on the weekends and my days off. Any days off, even if I'm not away from home, that's when I find it the hardest, because my idea of kind of enjoyment is to go to Asda, buy a big thing of like chocolate flapjacks or caramel shortcakes or whatever, come home and then have the day to myself and just know that I've got these snacks in the house. I know that sounds ridiculous. And then I sort of occasionally I'll be running around doing stuff, housework, videos, whatever, and then I'll stop and think, right, I'll have a cup of tea and a cake. And I do that, and that's when my weight comes, because I can eat like a whole packet of the chocolate flapjacks in a day easily, and I'm sure there's over 1,000 calories. So yeah, it's really hard for me to start on a day that I'm not working, whereas at least when I'm working, there's a routine. I'm in the habit of not having sweet stuff on a weekday, so I can start that on Tuesday, and kind of it won't be too bad for that first 4 days. The only thing that I'll be missing will be my lunchtime bit of chocolate, so we'll see how I get on. So it is a big long ramble, I know. Thank you so much for listening. I rambled a bit in my last one as well, I think, but it's just, I'm so undecided sometimes about diets. I think that, you know, food is such a big part of life, and it's such a big enjoyment for me. I know that I've actually asked my best friend, and I've asked Kev as well, about, you know, how they feel about food, and they definitely don't have the same feelings as I do. Not to say they don't find it difficult to lose weight, because even Kev says things are feeling a bit tight, and he wants to lose some, and he'll struggle to give up his beer, I think. But they both kind of say that they eat to sustain themselves a lot of the time, you know, whereas it's complete enjoyment for me. I look forward to lunch, I look forward to dinner, I look forward to breakfast. Everything for me is about food. So I wish there was a book that would come out that would kind of address the psychological addiction to food. I mean, perhaps there is, and if you guys know of any books like that, then please recommend them to me, because I will definitely check them out. Because I've just read one, or I'm in the middle of reading one, called Impulse, which is about how everything is kind of out with our control, and it's an impulse, and it's kind of comes from our DNA makeup, and we can't really avoid it. And actually it was quite depressing, because there was one little chapter on overeating that basically said the more you overeat and then you lose weight and everything, the more your brain is kind of hardwired like a junkie that you need that sugar fix. And it was quite depressing, because it sort of said you have no chance against it, that you're just fighting a losing battle. And the tips it gave you were things that I thought, well, that's not really going to benefit me. Like it was saying, eat from a smaller plate, but I don't overeat my dinners because they're calorie controlled, and there's only a certain amount, you know, we weigh out the food and everything. Same with breakfast, same with lunch. So I can't eat from a smaller plate because I know exactly what I'm eating. I'm not eating a large portion. What else did it say? It said if you've got sweets and biscuits, to put them in a clear, and not in a clear container, to put them kind of in a dark container. But for me, again, that doesn't work. If I know I've got them in the house, I've got them in my drawer, I put them in my vanity room so that I have to walk a long way to get one, that doesn't stop me. So them being in clear or otherwise will not make a difference. So it wasn't good in that respect. So if anybody knows of any books that talk about the psychology of dieting and have been helpful, then please do let me know. But like I said, thank you very much for listening to this ramble. I will try and do updates. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do a weekly update, because I found that a little bit difficult to do, actually, because to be sort of tied down to one day, it depends on what goes on at that day, whether I'm busy at work, late at work, you know, whatever. So but I will try and do regular updates and let you know how I'm getting on with the kind of sugar thing and the weight thing in general. So thanks very much for listening, and hopefully I'll see you when I'm thinner. Bye.